Hello everybody, I'm going to run through a reminder of combining like terms. So here we have a super long expression of 3x plus 2y minus 5 plus 2x minus y plus 7. And I'm going to walk through the steps of organizing our terms and then combining the like terms. So I'm going to start with color coding my like terms. So let's start with this 3x. Let's remember, if there is nothing in front of a term, it is implied that that is a positive number. So we can imagine there's an implied positive sign in front of that 3x. Okay, so that's 3x's, and then I can't combine it with that 2y because those are not like terms. I can't combine it with that -5 because that's not a like term. But here's another x term. We've got 2 x's right there. And then that y is not a like term, and that 7 is not a like term. All right, let's move on. So next up, I'm going to look at this positive 2y. How do I know it's positive? Because there's a plus sign in front of it. And so I'm going to combine that positive 2y, turn that blue. I cannot combine it with that -5 because those are not like terms. But I can combine it with this -y. How do I know it's a -y? Because there's a negative sign in front of it, or a subtraction symbol. And then last but never least, let's look at our constants. Remember, a constant is a number that does not have a variable. So we have a -5. Again, I know it's negative because there's a minus symbol in front of it or a negative symbol in front of it. And then we have a positive 7. All right, now let's do some rearranging. I'm going to start with pulling down my x terms to be next to each other. So I have a positive 3x plus 2x. All right, I'm going to mark those off. I have those. Now let's do our y terms. So that's a positive 2y minus y. Okay, mark those off. And then let's do our constants. I'll do this in red since the yellow is really hard to see. Minus 5. Remember, there's a negative in front of there. So -5 plus 7. Okay. Now we can do our combining. 3x plus 2x. Remember, we're just going to add those coefficients. The number in front of the variable is called a coefficient. So 3x's plus 2x's is 5x's. Then we have onto our y terms, 2y's minus 1y just equals 1y. And so if we just have a 1 of a thing, we can just use the variable to show that there's one of them. And then if we have -5 plus 7, this is very similar to saying 7 minus 5. -5 plus 7 equals a positive 2. So plus 2. And that's how I want this to look. I want you to have your terms as simplified as possible. There needs to be an operation in between your terms, so either a plus sign or a minus sign, depending on if you have a positive or negative value. And then nothing else that can be combined. So let's remember that like terms have the same variable. Or no variable. So like a constant is also a like term. Okay? So you can only combine things with the same variable or no variable. So x's go with x's, y's go with y's, constants go with constants, And then if we had exponents, so something like x squared would go with an x squared. Those are our like terms.